this quiet time before spring. It's also, I think, remember when exactly that starts, but for some Christian traditions, Lent is starting, and it's this time of preparation, preparing for the renewal of spring, and a lot of times we kind of wish winter away. We have this feeling that, oh, just got to get back to the light, got to get back to the warmth, and like most things, if we lose our mindfulness around it, we can forget that this is a really important time of the year for self renewal, deep inner renewal before kind of coming out into the light. So, invoke. I forget what it stands for, what the word stands for, but it's basically the stirring of the seeds. It's when the earth just, I always think of it like when you wake up in the morning, but then you go back to sleep for a little while. Whether you hit the snooze button or what, or you're just kind of in that drifty state. Like the earth has woken up a little bit, but not fully moved into full awakening. So if you know that there's 6 weeks left of winter, what is your wintering about? What are you nurturing deep on the inside? Is there something that you're cultivating in your spiritual life or in your emotional life that isn't really showing on the surface, but you're doing deep work? Or is there deep work to be done? And can you take advantage of this time to cultivate that inner space? So, in order to do that, we need mindfulness. We need presence. We need deep presence to kind of go in on the inner levels of things. So, I invite you to close your eyes now and think about something that you've been putting off, maybe, or something that you've been working on. Where the winter months are really prime for it. We're still in the darker time of the year. Light is coming. We can feel it. So, what is it that you want to use these next six weeks before spring begins to renew within yourself? Is there anything that needs to be burned away? Is there anything that needs to be nourished in your heart? So, as you close your eyes, can you commit to a bit of a something? What's inside? Or do you tend to have your winter be a very sleepy time where you don't do a lot of inner work and you just rest? So, and that's okay too, but it's time to start imagining the coming of the light. So, close your eyes and make a commitment, small or big, to whatever that is. It could be as simple as um, getting something in order in your home, or cleaning up your diet a little bit, or making sure you're getting more rest. So let's just drop into the body now. Come into the sense that you're here, this moment. And it's not a moment to be wished away, waiting for spring. It's a moment to be valued for itself. What's happening in your life right this moment? Have you had a busy morning? Have you had a quiet morning? What's in your mind? How's your body feeling? Is there something that needs to be nourished? Can you plant this little seed inside yourself? Is there something physical you can nourish in your body in your practice today? How about your breath? Let's just take a moment to feel stillness, to rest in gratitude, to rest in presence. Can you align yourself with the energies of the earth and the energies above? Can you become a conduit? Is your spine in a good place for this? Is your breath in a good rhythm for this? Can you feel Your roots tether down into the earth, and can you feel the earth lift up into you? Make any little adjustments in your body for openness. Can you use this moment to make a thought or a commitment around what needs to burn away, what needs to sleep away, what needs to come? Hands together at your heart now. Bow in. All right, and then let's rest our hands down and come onto your back on your mat. So as you lie down, enjoy. So stretch open through your body. Place your body anywhere that feels good. So limbs can be close to the midline, far away from the midline. Have a moment of just allowing yourself to rest, be cradled by gravity and the earth. Know that feeling of rest that winter has. You've gotten more sleep this winter with all the dark skies. Maybe you've been mulling something over that's deep in the inner workings of the mind. All right, let's start to roll around your wrists and your ankles while you're here. So moving one direction a few times, moving another direction a few times, just with your wrists, and then open and close your fists. You can do this fast or slow, just getting some blood flow into your hands. And then let's do the same with our feet. You can point and flex. You can try to do both things at the same time, or just take a break with your hands and move your feet. And then just feel, do you have a little heat in your extremities or in your tips, not full extremities? And then reach your arms overhead and feel some extension. Stretch your arms, stretch your shoulders. This usually makes me want to yawn. I don't know if that happens to you. Feel the reach through your body. And then bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a hug. Rocking. Check in. How's your back today? How's your spine? How's your tailbone, your sacrum, your sacroiliac joints? Let's circle the knees a few times. And let's circle the knees the other direction a few times. Just kind of finding that sense of balance across your pelvis. You can rock, sway left and right. All right, and then let's put our feet down onto the ground for a moment and just have a moment to really feel the presence of your breath inside your body. Sometimes breathing's easier when we're lying on our backs. We tend to move our diaphragm a little bit more naturally for some people. Be nourished by your breath. So try to remember that through your practice. Always breathing. Stretch your arms, lengthen through your sides again. And this time, pick up your head, knees into your chest, and draw in. Open up to a starfish, so the arms and legs go wider. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Exhale, draw into the midline. One more time, opening your body out. Can you feel symmetry, harmony in all your limbs? Exhale, draw your knees in. All right, let's roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees and come right back to child's pose. So settle your hips back toward your heels and allow your body to rest. So feel the curling in of this pose. Allow your forehead to come toward the floor, maybe even touch the floor if you're able. Guide your breath coming into the back of your body. Try to go inside. Feel what's happening on the inside. All right, and then we're going to come up and come onto all fours and start moving your spine. So cat-cows, feeling some movement. Just noticing what works well in your spine, where maybe you have some spots that aren't as mobile. Okay, so just finding what you're finding. Try to feel that your shoulder blades move. Try to feel that your head moves, your tail. So feel all those connections to your vertebrae, your rib cage, your skull. I know your shoulder blades don't touch your spine, but they certainly relate to your spine. And then your pelvis. And as you move, can you feel all this interwovenness in your body, that you are all one? And then move things around any way you want to move things around. So explore the sensations of the body. Let your eyes be restful, whether they're open or closed. Can you lose tension through the base of your skull? And then stretch back towards child's pose again. We're going to walk the hands forward now, if you're comfortable, as far as forward as they will go. And then we're going to come even further. So lifting your hips now off your heels, walk the hands farther forward. So your hips are over your knees and start to come down with your chest. So if you have vulnerability in your shoulders, take your elbows down onto the ground, so your forearms are resting, and just feel the chest move toward the earth. If you can lift your elbows, your shoulders can handle that, go ahead and do that. Lift under the armpits, relax the thoracic spine toward the earth. And then go ahead and find your way back onto all fours. One more round of a cat-cow, so you can walk the knees forward a little bit, and let's find a twist. Left arm lifting high in the sky. Exhale, slide that left arm through, stretching through the backside of your shoulders. Find your breath here. All right, and then inhale. Reach that arm all the way back up and place your hand down onto the ground. Second side, arm up. Slide shoulder down. Enjoy the space between your shoulder blades. Maybe your spine has a little adjustment in it when you do this. Shoulders away from the ears. The neck is so soft. Breathe into the backside of your body. So imagine the back is the front. That much awareness. Then inhale. Reach that arm all the way back up again. Place the hand down onto the ground and come all the way to dog pose. So stretch and lengthen through your body. Feel your feet. You can pedal things out if you want. Just enjoy this pose. It's such a beautiful thing to stretch your full body. So feel the sit bones lift. You can pedal your feet or bounce or sway. You can have any kind of movement that helps you warm up your body. Don't forget, often we go right to the legs in our movement. Don't forget what your shoulders are supporting here. So try not to lean just into the shoulder joints. See what it feels like to bend the elbows, swoop the elbows under, plug the elbows up into the shoulders and feel that there's extra muscles supporting you instead of just leaning into the shoulder joints themselves. Hug your hands toward each other, root into the index finger mounds. Feel the length come through your body. Breathe here, melt here. And then when you're ready, walk your feet forward, come into Uttanasana. Fold in half. You can bend your knees as much as you want. Inhale for a halfway lift. Hands can be on your thighs or shins. Exhale and melt. Fold again. Push off your feet. Rise up, bringing the arms all the way to the sky. Open the chest. Maybe open the heart. And then relax your shoulders down. Shake out your hands again. Find your presence. So just pause in Tadasana for a moment. Relax your shoulders down away from the ears. Feel your roots grow. Soften your knees. Unbind yourself. If there's lockouts in your hips, knees, spine, see if you can unlock. Discover your breath. Let the breath go deep. Let it all out. All right, and then as you're ready, take a deep breath. Lift your arms all the way up to the sky. Open the chest up, lean back if you want, and exhale and fold forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. The spine is growing. Exhale and melt back down. Step your left foot back. Your right foot's going to stay forward, coming into a lunge, warming up the legs. Feel the sense of extension. Place your back knee on the ground. Open your chest. Lift up through your spine. And then when you're ready, find both legs getting a little straighter. Square the hips, tuck the chin toward the chest. Move like we usually do. Breathe in or out. Just breathe. Open up your spine and then straighten your front leg and tuck your chin toward your chest. One more time. All right, come back. Walk your back foot forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, other foot comes back. Right foot is back. Left foot is now forward. Find the extension. Open up through the hip flexor of that back leg. Feel the hip open. Root into the feet, hugging to the midline. Go ahead and place the back knee down onto the ground. Open those hip flexors up. Feel the chest broaden and widen. Stay present with your breath. And change directions. Square hips, legs go straighter. Tuck chin toward chest. Relax here. And then let's find some movement. Bending your front knee and then straightening your front knee. Just finding what works for you. Okay. Breathe as you move. So who cares how slow or fast you are compared to everybody else? Stay in your breath pattern. And then when you're ready, walk your back foot forward again. Rise all the way up. Come up to stand. Reach your hands up in the air if you can. So of course, if your shoulder's bothering you, you can do a side stretch without your arm having to lift up in the air. But if you can, reach on, open up the side body a little bit. Feel the roots of your feet, inner spiral the thighs, stay grounded. And then come back up and go to the second side. So as you find the movement here, what's happening with your rib cage? Can you send energy down into your foot? Can you reach energy up into your shoulder? And then come back to center. Shrug your shoulders a couple of times. Take a deep breath. When you're ready, exhale and fold forward. Relax the spine. Bend your knees. Come all the way down to the ground. Okay. Find yourself onto your back for just a moment. We're just going to wake up the side bodies a little bit. It's finding breath here. Lift up your knees, bring them toward the chest, and just go. We're not doing deep poses just yet here. So I just want you to keep your ankles and your knees together and rock side to side, just letting the side body support you as you bring your knees back and forth. And we're going to add a little bit of abdominal work here. So interlace your hands behind your back. You can either do this with your knees bent or you can do this with your legs straight. Take a breath, and we're going to lift the right chest up toward the left knee. And then bring that leg up. The opposite leg goes down. I have to bend my knee because I'm going to hit my furniture. You can also do this with bent knees. Crossing over. So going side to side. So as your right knee comes forward, your left chest moves toward right knee, and then opposite. Keep breathing. Try not to yank your elbows over. This is really about moving your chest more than pulling your elbows over from side to side. Finding your breath. Stay present for it. You can move slow or fast. And then go ahead and relax and rest. Bring your knees to your chest for a moment. Rock, breathe. We're going to come lying on our side. So come onto your right side. You can support underneath your head if you need to. Be on that precipice of the knife edge of your body. Lift your arm in the air. Lift your leg in the air. See if you can feel the stability through your core and your legs. So it's okay. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to roll forward or backward. But see what you can do to find that edge of your body. Engage through your core without tensing up your breath, without tensing up your neck. Great, and then go ahead and roll back onto your back. Bring your knees to your chest for a moment, head up, and then roll right over to the other side and find this side. So we're lifting our arm in the air and then join with your leg. Find that balance point where you're, really trying to balance on the knife edge of your body. It's a great way to practice balance because you're already on the floor, so nothing's going to get injured if you really hug into the really small little skinny edge of the body. So be on a tiny little string. How's your breath? All right, and then relax. Roll over onto your belly this time. Come up onto all fours and find dog pose. Extending through your sides. Feel the reach through the body. Relax your head. Feel the openness in the soles of your feet. How broad can you get the bottom of your feet? Can you get really mindful in where your hands are touching, where your feet are touching? Feel. Root down and rise back up. Come forward into a plank. Hold yourself steady. And notice if you tend to pull your chest in. See if you cannot pull your sternum into the body, but instead find that you're bringing your shoulder blades hugging onto the rib cage. Support with the cylinder around your torso as much as you can. Find the breath. We're going to turn our navel to the right. Keep your chest facing forward. Come back. Turn your navel to the left. And come back. When you're ready, come down to the floor. Take your forearms forward so that you're in Sphinx pose. Elbows are right under shoulders. Lift open your chest. Spread your wings a bit. So feel the shoulders drop down. You can even stretch your neck from one side to the other. Dropping one ear, lifting the other. Okay. And then come to a neutral Sphinx pose here and check in with your spine. How is your low back? Right near your sacrum. How is that spot? Can you puff it up a little bit? Can you hold the front body into the back body? Can you stabilize with the strength of your legs? Okay, and then release and come back down. Come onto all fours. Have a little swish. Anything that wants to move. And eventually find your way back to dog pose. Extending through your spine. Let's lift the right leg up. Engage. So flex your leg. Engage your glutes. Engage your hamstrings. Extend. Reach your heel all the way up in the air. Find your breath. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, bring your knee in again. This time stay, knee stays in, and we're gonna windshield wiper our knee, bringing it out and bringing it in. And you go where you go. So your range of motion might be just like 2 inches off to each side, or you might be a foot or more off to each side. So find what you're able to do while staying stable. Try not to sink your sternum. And then lift that leg all the way back. Deep breath in, exhale, foot comes forward. Come up to crescent lunge. Find your way slowly. So if your balance is a little, you need a little time, take your time to find your way up and enjoy wherever you want your arms to be. So feel that inner awakening. Open up something in the body that might be sleepy, that is ready to have that first awakening. Sometimes when we get sleepy in our bodies, our breath just gets so shallow. And if we work some of these abdominal muscles, we can get our diaphragm to have, I can move. I have a little room here. So find the openness through your sternum, through your chest, your ribs. Let your breath fill the bottom rib cage. And then when you're ready, twist to the side. Drop your shoulders. Don't worry about where your hands up. You can keep your hands on your hips if you want. Just find the obliques. Twist with the obliques. Soften your back knee. Don't let it lock out. And then come back to center. Hands, arms up if you can. Exhale, place the hands down onto the ground. Back foot comes forward. Fold. Enjoy the curling in. That sense of retreating inside. Inhale to expand outward. Exhale and release again. Step back to dog pose. Find the breath. Always you can make choices that are different. If your shoulders are bothering you, put your hands on a piece of furniture, and you can do this work of the core with your hands up on a wall or a piece of furniture instead of down, so that you can find the core work without the shoulders being overburdened. Lift the left leg up in the air. Hips are square. Find the breath. Engage through the glutes. Feel the hamstrings. Inner spiral the thighs. Stretch to your foot. Take big, huge breaths here. And then when you're ready, knee to nose. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, knee in. Try not to hunker the sternum, lift it, and start to move your knee. So remember, your knee can move. Sometimes smaller movements is better to isolate the action of your obliques. So, sometimes when we swing our knee really far, we end up just swinging our body. So I try to isolate, where is this action coming from? Where are you originating strength from? All right, and then lift that leg all the way back up in the air. Exhale and bring your foot forward. Come into a lunge, rise up to a crescent lunge as you're ready. Take your time, adjust whatever you need to adjust. Bring your arms wherever you're comfortable with bringing them. Wherever you're going with your arms, try to find the bottom rib cage, expanding, opening, coming into that state of being able to breathe deeply and well. Wake things up on the inside. All right, and then twist to the side if you're comfortable with the arms out, or bring your hands onto your hips if you're not comfortable. Make sure your back knee is soft. Hug to the midline to stabilize yourself. Use your core to twist. Okay, great. Inhale, reaching the arms back up. Hands down onto the ground. Back foot comes forward. Fold in half. Relax, bend deeply. Inhale, rise all the way up. Come into a chair. So you can put a block between your thighs if you want to. You can have anything that's supportive for you. You can have your legs together like mine are, or you can have your legs hip width apart. So whatever feels good. Arms go where arms want to be. How's your shoulders feeling? Can you feel your neck relax? Finding the breath. Let's twist here. So just one more time, awakening the core a little bit, making sure, be so slow so that you can feel that you're actually moving from your torso as you go from side to side instead of just turning your hips. Okay, try to keep stable. One more time each side. Once again, arms do not have to do the moving. We're really trying to focus on the center of the body. Stabilize in your in your chair. And rise on up. Open the breath. Exhale and fold forward. When we come down now, come onto all fours. Bring your forearm. Actually, let's practice this first. Stand back up. Grab your block. Sorry to make you go down and then up. I know for some people, wider is better. For me, I wish I had like a skinny block and a long block. So you're going to bring your hands onto one or two blocks, palms facing toward each other. Elbows are in line with the shoulders. Feel this, instead of hunkering and like pulling your chest in, sometimes when we use our pecs, overuse our pecs, we tend to curl our sternum in. So see what it feels like to broaden your chest, to use your lats, your serratus to do some of this energy instead of just your pecs. Gently hug the block. So it's not, you don't want to squeeze super tight, but you want to have some energy there. And then we're going to slowly lift our elbows up. So bend your elbows at a 90-degree angle. Elbows into shoulders. Feel the back body. Gentle pressure on the block. Not a lot. Just enough to activate, but we don't want our pecs to overpower the back of our body. Breathing here. And then start. How's your Tadasana? Are your knees soft? And then start to lift the elbows up a little higher in the air. Keep the shoulders down. Keep the elbows in line with the shoulders. Plug the elbows into the shoulders. Find any height that your shoulders allow. Can you feel the work in the back side of your shoulder blades? All right, and then relax. Shake that out. Shake your shoulders, shake your arms. Take a deep breath. Exhale and fold forward. Relax, wobble around, halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Now you can come down onto your knees. We've already warmed up now for a sequence of forearm plank and dolphin pose. So let's start in dolphin pose. Remember, you can take a block between your hands if you want and turn your hands toward each other, or you can have your palms down on the ground. If you tend to internally rotate and overpower with your chest, try turning your hands facing each other with a block. This will help you use the back body and keep the shoulders externally rotated. Find the breath, and let's go ahead and come up to dolphin pose. So it's like dog pose. Take your thigh bones back, lift your sit bones, feel your grounding in your feet. And then feel the energy of moving away from the earth. Hug the block gently if you're using it. Relax your neck. Breathe deeply. Once again, if this is hard on your shoulder, you can be doing this against a wall so that the pose is not so overwhelming. All right, and then come down. Rest on your knees for a moment. Relax your shoulders. Maybe come back to child's pose. Relax your arms down at your sides. Take a breath. All right, now we're going to come into a forearm plank. So forearm planks are some of the best things we can do for engaging our deep core muscles, our transverse abdominis, and our obliques the way we're going to do it today. A lot of times you see people holding your hands like this. The challenge of having your hands interwound like this is it over-relies on your pecs, which we tend to be stronger on the front than the back. So open up the hands. They can be facing toward each other, block in between. They can be hands down onto the ground. The wrists are in line with the shoulders, in line with the elbows. Okay, come back to a forearm plank. If you need to, put your knees on the floor. You don't have to have your knees up off the ground to feel the work of this posture. So if your shoulders are unhappy, try coming up into a regular plank instead if it's too much, or you can do a wall forearm plank. But try to stimulate the core here. This is what we're working with, is to heat up the inner center belly. Find the breath. All right, and then come down and rest on the floor. Take a deep breath in. Cobra pose, Sphinx pose, whatever pose. And then exhale and rest. We're going to come back through to a forearm plank, and we're going to do that twisty thing we did earlier in a regular plank. Turn your hips to the left first. And then come back to center. Turn your hips to the right. And then come back to center. Put your knees onto the floor. Come off your hands. Bring your right foot forward. Come into a lunge and rise up. If your arms are comfortable overhead, take a breath and open up. Stretch your side body now. Breathe deeply. Find some extension. Okay, and then relax. Turn and open up to the side, finding warrior two. Find your legs. Drop your shoulders down. Find your breath. Gaze out over your fingers. Feel the work of the pose, but also the rest inside of the pose. Presence. All right, straighten your leg for a moment. Bring your hands in, and then come into Parsvakonasana. So we're going to have a little bit unusual connections to work with today in this pose. Stretch your arm overhead if you can, and put it somewhere else if you can't. Find the femur bone of that back leg, drawing back. Feel all the placement of alignment so that you're grounded in the posture. And then once you're here, see what it feels like to activate the underbelly. So the the right side of your body. See if you can feel a sense of hugging that side waist so that you're not so much where you're crunching and opening up the other side too much, but find that stability. And then from that stability, see if you can cross and make a connection from your right shoulder to your left foot. Let that travel back upward through your crown. Stay stable through that underbelly of the pose. Find the connection to your back heel. And then come on up, reverse your triangle pose for a moment. Reach that arm up, stretch open those ribs, and come into reverse warrior. Okay, so stay in your lunge, and now open up that side you just flexed, and flex the other side. See if you can feel the work of engaging the whole side of your body. Left side, shoulder, all the way down to your heel. Find that full connection. And then connect. See if you can feel the right shoulder in the air connect into the back heel. Just what kind of connections do you feel in your body? It's not a typical kinesthetic chain, but everywhere can connect to everywhere else. Find your way back up, triangle pose. Bring your hand onto a block if you want. Open the chest. Stay grounded. Now find even side body length. See if you can stretch your two sides away from your pelvis. And then come back up to stand. Let's turn our feet the other way. Finding your breath. Same thing, find Virabhadrasana first. Come into a warrior pose. Ground into your feet. Feel your roots. Relax something. Discover your breath. All right, we're going to find Parsvakonasana. Elbow comes down on the knee. Shoulders are away from the ears. Now, with the risk of overdoing a rotation, not a rotation, but a lateral bend, hug your left shoulder and your pelvis toward each other. Find that compression just a little bit in your side body, and then see if you can reach that into the back heel. Find that movement of the shoulder into the hip all the way to the back heel. Extend back through your crown. Open up that knee, see if you can stay tracking into some external rotation. Okay. I know these are unusual connections. Reach that arm up in the air now, straighten your leg. Find a reverse triangle pose first. Stretch where you just flexed. And then go ahead and find your way into a reverse warrior pose. So now, the cool thing about your side bodies is that usually when one's flexing, the other's stretching. So as you engage now with your right side body, can you open up through the left? Do you feel a connection of your shoulder to your back heel? And then rebound that up into your left hand. Notice if you're over pinching anywhere. Can you have strength and space? And then come on up and out of that. Turn your feet forward for a moment. We're going to readjust your feet for goddess pose. Let's turn your feet out. You're going to come down into a squat, so a wide squat, and let your torso lower toward the floor a little bit. Just get used to your legs being in this position, and then open your chest back up, come up to an upright posture. And remember, you can go as deep or as shallow in this pose as you want. Bring your arms out to the sides, open through your chest, and we're going to stretch one arm up, other hand comes lightly resting on your knee, and then switch. So see if you can stay so stable through your pelvis, but we're opening and closing the sides of the body. All right, and then straighten your legs. We're going to repeat that in a slightly different way. Straighten your legs for a moment. This time, if you're comfortable, we're going to have your hands interlaced behind your head like an old school sit-up. Elbows are wide. Okay. When we come down into goddess pose, we're going to rotate from here. So if you're not comfortable, you can do this with your hands on your hips and just do some side bending with your hands on your pelvis. Okay, so take a deep breath. As you exhale, squat down again. Make sure you're even. So if you have a knee or an ankle or a hip or something that's unhappy, go where it's happy. Let the rest of the body move around that. Open the chest. Find your breath. Notice if your floating ribs push right out. See, integrate. And then reach one elbow down, one elbow up. Back to center, one elbow down, one elbow up. Don't worry about how far you go. So I don't want you to think about going down with your down elbow. Think more about going up with your up elbow so that you're really stabilizing. We're not trying to bring our torso toward our leg. All right, and then unwind, stretch your arms. Turn your feet forward and come to rest. Let your back lengthen, soften your skull, bounce your head around a little bit if it feels good. And then walk your hands back to the front of your mat, dog pose. Deep breaths here. Okay, and then come down onto your knees. Rest in child's pose for a moment. Let your hips settle. Now we're going to try to put a lot of that together and come into a side forearm plank. So, of course, you can make a different choice. You can do this against a wall. You could just skip it if your shoulders are unhappy. But if you're able to come onto your right side, your forearm is going to be perpendicular to your mat. Your elbow is underneath your shoulder, maybe a smidge forward of your shoulder. You can either put your top foot on the ground and lift your hips with your top leg on the floor or top foot on the floor, or you can stack your two hips, feet on top of each other and lift here. Okay, so you can also put one foot in front of the other. So find what's going to make you stable. If this bothers your shoulder, come down, don't do it, okay? Shoulder blades on the back. Hug your forearm to your foot. Find the kinesthetic chain of that side body, and then open up through your chest into the arm in the air. Breathing, be on your knife edge. All right, and then rest. Go ahead and find your way over to the other side. So see if you can feel that your kinesthetic chain on your side body is not just from your shoulder to your hip, but it's from your hand to your foot. Okay, so as you come into this pose, forearm is on the ground. Find your breath. Decide how you want your legs to be, either the top leg over with your foot on the ground, the top foot forward with the inside edge of your foot on the ground, or 2 feet stacked. When you come up, breathe. Another nice way to do this that I'm automatically doing because my distance is small is that my foot's against my couch and it gives me a little support. Shoulders are away from the ears. Hug your forearm and your feet. Find that engagement through the whole side of your body. Open your chest. Rebound that through the other shoulder into the hand in the air. Breathe. Shoulders are away from the ears. All right, and then come down when you're ready and find your way onto your back. Bring your knees into your chest. Relax your shoulders. I know some of that stuff is shoulder intensive. So let's just ease our way here. Put your feet on the floor. Lift your hips up and scooch them right. Knees come up and we're spilling them left. Let your chest open. Breathing deeply here. Just let your side body expand with your breath. All right, lift up your your knees. Scoot your hips over to the other side. Knees come up and drop them left or right, whichever way you didn't go yet. Take a deep breath, relax. See, where do you typically feel this pose? See if you can access what your rib cage feels like, what your breath, your diaphragm, your side waist feels like, your chest. All right, let's go ahead and find our way back up to neutral. You can do this actively or passively. Passively, you choose how you want bridge pose to feel. Feet are close to the pelvis. Feet are pointing straight, not turned in or out. Inhale, lift your hips up, rock onto the tops of your shoulders. Decide how you want your arms to be. I like my arms straight back with my palms up so that my triceps engage. Some people bend their elbows. You can always interlace your hands underneath your back. Root your feet into the earth. Open up the bottom rib cage. Breathe into all that space. Find symmetry in your pelvis, your leg muscles. Find symmetry in the way you're breathing. And then relax and melt your body back down. Rest here for a moment. Okay, let's go ahead and find your breathing now. So still with your feet planted on the floor, bring your arms straight out to the side if they're comfortable. A lot of waking through the side bodies, so let's just breathe into that space now. See if you can let your side ribs be mobile as you breathe. When you're ready, bring your knees into your chest for a moment and rock. Hold on to your feet. Happy baby pose. Let your back stretch. Find a reverse pigeon pose or thigh over thigh hip stretch. Any kind of movement you want. You can put your foot against a piece of furniture. You can hold behind your leg, behind your hamstring, or in the front of your shin. You can move a little bit. Sometimes I do this pose with one hand on one knee and one hand on the other, and I kind of just do some circles a little bit. So just experiment. What's going to help you open up some of the muscles in your hips that we used? Try not to tighten the ribs and breath now, just to keep them open. All right, and then unwind that, stretch your whole body to a starfish. And then change sides. Okay, so you decide, try to have some symmetry here. Going from one side to the other. We're never very symmetrical, so you may not have the same sensation, you may not have the same range of motion, but see if you can access the same level of breath, the same level of trying to melt. All right, and then go ahead and release. Bring your knees into your chest. We're going to spend the last few minutes of class doing just a little bit of pranayama lying down. So if you have a blanket that you can accordion fold, so try to make a skinny bolster, kind of just enough for your spine so that it's try to make it pretty thin so that your back bottom rib cage has air underneath it instead of blanket underneath it. And then with your other blanket or block, you can put it over top for your head, or you can put a block underneath the blanket. There's lots of ways to support your head. So we're going to come down, and if you have two blankets and you want to do two blankets, you can do that too in an accordion fold. We're going to come down and have support underneath your head, however, with a block or a blanket, and then you get to decide how you want your legs to be. You can bend your knees, you can put your feet in Baddha Konasana, if so, support underneath your knees, or you can, I'm stuck because my furniture's here, but You can straighten your legs on the floor, which is the more traditional way, is to just keep your legs straight on the floor. But experiment for what feels best for your body. Make sure you have enough support on your under your head where you don't want to have a lockdown where your chin touches your chest. You want to have a gentle energy of that kind of sloping toward your chest with your head. And then find the pose. Can you open up your shoulders like a bridge pose feeling? Just a little bit. You don't have to push the chest or anything. And can you feel that the side ribs, and especially in the bottom back side ribs, do you have some mobility there? Are you hanging in space? And we're not going to do any fancy pranayama techniques of breath holding or anything like that. I just want you to feel the long, steady inhale, the long, steady exhale. Ujjayi has the sense of just banking the sides of the rivers of your throat a little bit. So you can try some Ujjayi breath, breathing through your nose the whole way in and out. Feeling your breath slow down, a slight constriction along the walls so that you have a slow, steady stream of inhale and a slow, steady stream of exhale. Feel, once you get the breath rhythm and your body's comfortable where you're lying down, feel the back bottom ribs, feel the side ribs. Know that you have a lot of space to breathe, that your breath isn't just in a top 3-inch box at your sternum. So this can be the stirring of your seeds. Kind of shake up your lungs just a little bit and get into the deeper places where breath can go. Know that spring is coming. We're halfway there. Sorry, can you prepare your body for the awakening of spring just by breathing well? Are you relaxed in your face, your skull, your brain, your eyes? Do your shoulders feel open? Can you drape the shoulder blades? Can you drape the heads of the arm bones? Can you relax the palms open? Try not to force anything. It's all about receiving. Can your body rest on your exhales? Are you able to fully melt? As you're ready to transition into Shavasana, you can. So if being on the blankets is a little challenging for your spine, get off of everything and bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit. And then take support under your knees for Shavasana. If you're comfortable, you can even just stay like this. Lounge chair Shavasana with a little ramp under your back and a little support underneath your knees. Whatever is going to help you stay open, relaxed, and at ease. As you find your body getting comfortable again, let things go. Enjoy the presence of Shavasana. Stay in the breath. Stay in the deep rest. Let your skull drop back. The base of your skull is soft. Any tension through your skull melt. Eyes melt. Soften through your jaw, your teeth, your tongue. Let your limbs settle. Feel the expansive breath. As you're ready, come into the breath again. Enjoy the feeling of breathing. Eventually finding a little bit of movement, maybe with your fingers and your toes. And then let's nourish our back a little bit. Sometimes laying on that blanket for pranayama requires a little bit of countering. So let's bring your knees to your chest, rock around a little bit. Maybe even a happy baby pose or any movement that your spine needs to be nourished. And then eventually coming onto your side. Come up to sit. Feel your breath travel deep. Place your palms together at your heart and offer your presence outward, sharing your energy with another. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Let's see if I can